Here's a segment from this month's edition of St. Charles Parish Today, a new monthly local talk show.
Election Day is October 22nd, with a runoff election scheduled for November 19th. Let's say it's the morning of October 22nd. You've been to your local precinct and you've pulled the lever for the folks you support for various offices. You've made your voice heard on Election Day. But have you ever wondered how your vote at your neighborhood precinct gets tallied with all the other votes cast around the parish or even the state? Today we have St. Charles Parish Registrar of Voters Brian Champagne and Louisiana Director of Voter Registration Joanne Reed with us to discuss the behind-the-scenes mechanics of voting and tips you should know about ensuring your vote is counted. Thank you both for being on the show today to talk about the upcoming election, very hot topic. Can you talk a little bit about what happens after the polls close and how the election results get tallied that night and out to the media to be reported?
Okay, after the polls close, the Commissioner of Elections takes the election results out of the back of the machine. They deliver them to the Clerk of Court's office. The Clerk of Court inserts the results cartridge into the computer where it's read, and then they upload the results to the Secretary of State's computer.
Right.
Which is then updated. Okay, there we go. Uploaded straight to our website simultaneously.
Okay. And on the parish level, you guys help out with that as well?
We have absentee commissioners who are appointed by the Board of Election Supervisors. The Board of Election Supervisors is the Clerk of Court, myself, the Chairman of the Parish Republican Committee, the Chairman of the Parish Democratic Committee, and one appointee of the Governor. We meet as a board. We select the commissioners by lottery. Those are the people you see when you go Saturday who help you vote, take your name, check your identification. While the election is going on, usually at 4 or 6 o'clock that afternoon, we will start the count of the absentee ballots, the paper ballots that were mailed to your home. We also compile the early voting numbers on the electronic machines that are used in the Registrar of Voters office for early voting, either at the courthouse or at the Audiberry building. All those machines, all of our absentee ballots, we bring them up to the main courtroom in the courthouse. Once the board convenes to count the ballots, whoever is from the public that is there to witness is locked in with the board. Usually we have assistance from the Secretary of State's office, some IT help, they'll come. We go over the procedures with the absentee commissioners as to how the ballots are supposed to be counted. Then we begin to count the paper ballots. They're scrambled randomly where the commissioners cannot see whose ballot matched what vote.
Okay.
While that process is going on, either myself or my staff, we will start tallying the early voting machines, the electronic machines. So we have two things going on at the same time. Then everything comes together. We merge the electronic results from the early voting machines with the hand count or the scan count of the absentee ballots. We do have a new electronic scanner system that the Secretary of State has just put in place for our office, and it looks like it's going to work very well. We tally those votes electronically, the paper ballots electronically on the scanner. We have the votes from the early voting, and then they're all merged into a computer program. We print those results. The Board of Election Supervisors certifies those results for the Clerk of Court at 8:01, after the polls close at 8 o'clock. After 8 o'clock, we can release those results to the Clerk of Court, who return to his office, put those results into the state computer system. And as Ms. Reed said, those results are usually live. As soon as they're put in from the clerk's office, they're put on the Secretary of State's site.
Okay.
And that's usually your fastest way of viewing results.
Right, and that's where the media gets their certified results.
Yes.
Okay, so after an election is over, and this is a few days down the road, how does the vote get ultimately certified?
Okay. The clerk of court opens the machines on the third day after the election in presence of the Parish Board of Election Supervisors. The board prepares a compiled statement, and they submit it to the clerk no later than 4 p.m. on the fourth day after the election. The clerk of court transmits the election results to the Secretary of State no later than noon on the 5th day after the election. The Secretary of State compiles the results, which are unofficial, until the Secretary of State promulgates which shall be on or before the 12th day after the election.
Okay. All right. Well, sounds interesting, and interesting that it's so electronic now, you know, as opposed to what it was probably 10 or 12 years ago.
Right.
So
and all of these meetings of the board, the public is invited. The public can come and witness when we choose commissioners. We're going to go through the same process of certifying the results, making sure, certifying the machines that there are zero tally prior to the election. We do that for the early voting machines. We do that for the AVC Edge machines, large machines that are used on election day. We meet at the voter warehouse, which is located in Hornville. All of those dates are posted on our website with the registrar of voters. The public is invited to come and view that. Candidates sometimes send a representative to view.
right.
And it's all done in public view. And the board has to meet, and the majority of the board has to agree as to what took place.
Right. Okay. Well, you mentioned early voting and also absentee voting. Can you give us a little bit more information on that, the dates for this upcoming election, and then some, I know there's some new options for folks that are over 65 who are not able to make it on election day to vote.
Right now, the time period for requesting your absentee mail ballot is going on. You can download the form either from the Secretary of State site or from our parish website. You can download the form, fill it out. It has to either be mailed, hand-delivered, or faxed into the Registrar of Voters' office 4 days prior to the election. Once we receive it, we verify that you are a registered voter, all your information is correct, and we just received the ballots today in our office, so within the next week, we'll be getting those ballots out in the mail. We have quite a few people who are in the military and quite a few people who live here in the parish, they're domiciled, but they're working around the world for various corporations.
Right.
So we do mail out quite a few to military and overseas. The Secretary of State, I think this is the 3rd year, if you're over 65 or you are mobility impaired, you can elect to get a ballot mailed to your home automatically. All you do is fill out the form on our website or the Secretary of State site, send it into the registrar's office, you're put in the computer system where you will automatically receive a ballot. If you move or for some reason do not receive your mail any longer at that address and it's returned to us, then you're taken off the program.
Okay.
It's worked very well. We're getting close to 300 people taking advantage of that program. And I would urge everyone to look into it, especially you're getting elderly, you can't get around, you don't have family that can bring you to the poll. But if you can go and vote on election day, you still have that option. But if you can't make it, you can't find a ride or health issues, you can get the ballot sent to your home and you still have your right to vote.
Okay. And you mentioned early voting as well.
Yes, early voting is going to begin on October 8th, Saturday, October 8th, from 8:30 to 6 in the Registrar of Voters' office in the courthouse and also at the Allen Auterbury building in New Sarpy. It's going to be 8:30 to 6, Saturday, October 8th, and then from Monday, October 10th, through Saturday, October 15th. So you have that opportunity of the 2 Saturdays in the week to vote. If you're going to be out of town, you're going hunting, going to the LSU game, or whatever is going on that election day and you can't make it, you can't come early vote, you still have that option to request an absentee mail ballot.
Okay, that's very important because nowadays there's so many ways to make sure that your vote is counted. There's almost no excuse not to do it, you know.
And I would also like to mention, a lot of us have children in college. They're away and they may not be able to come back and vote. They can receive an absentee by mail ballot at their college address. They have to send the form in to us. If it's their first time voting, they have to send us a picture ID, a student picture ID, or a receipt from the university that they are registered, their fee receipt, something for us to know that they're in college, a student, and they can't come vote in person for their first time voting.
Okay. Well, you mentioned the Secretary of State's website that the results are reported to after the elections are over with on Election Day. What's that website and where can people get more information?
Okay, our website is www.govote.com. Go is spelled G-E-A-U-X, vote.com.
Okay, very good. Was there anything else you'd like to add?
I think we've covered a lot of things. You know, the Secretary of State's websites for registering online it's a safe site to use. It's also linked to our parish site. We saw a lot of activity these last few days before registration ended on the 21st. people taking advantage of electronic mail voting, mail registering. Also, would like to mention that with the changes with the Postal Service, try to get your ballots mailed early. Because now the mail is being sorted at these regional centers. It may take a day or two longer than your mail normally took. So please get your ballots in on time. Please take your time, read the directions. It's not that difficult. You know, just make sure you make your choices clear with a pencil. Get them back to our office in a timely period. We cannot accept your ballot hand-delivered into our office. It has to be postmarked.
Okay.
So it's very important to get it in the mail. And if for some reason it's last minute and you can't get it in the mail, we can accept it by fax, but you have to contact us first so you can sign a release that your ballot is being received by fax. You know, I anticipate a very good turnout for our upcoming election. We're getting prepared for a good voter turnout for early voting and to receive a lot of mail ballots. If anyone has a question, please call our office. We did have redistricting in St. Charles Parish. We have 4 new voting precincts. Roughly right under 500 people will be voting in a new precinct, but that precinct will be in the same location where you voted previously. It's just you vote at a separate table and a separate voting machine. Voter ID cards went out in the mail this week. You should be receiving them in the next few days. Please review the information on your card. Familiarize yourself. It's not the whole parish that has been redistricting. It's just the 4 areas that we have to be concerned about. And I don't think it's going to cause that much confusion if people are aware about it. But please check your information. The parish IT department has done such a great job with our website. It's very user-friendly. We have a lot of great information up there. There's also a poll locator site that is linked to the Secretary of State. You just put in your name and your birth date, and it'll tell you where you should go vote. So if you're lost on election day, you can't phone into our office, that's available. And the commissioners on election day are there to help you find where you should vote. So show up to vote with your picture ID. You have to have now a signed picture ID or your driver's license.
You can also get a sample ballot off the Secretary of State's website as well.
That's very good information too. I go there a lot to make sure, you know, I know when I go into the voting booth exactly what I'm going to see, you know, so I can prepare.
Yes, and there will be 5 propositions on the ballot for this October.
Okay. Very good information for, you know, like I said, if you want to vote, you have every opportunity. So we want to make sure everybody gets their voice heard this fall. Yes. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for the job you've done, not only assisting our office, but the great job for the parish informing the public.
Sure, thank you.
Catch the entire episode right here on Channel 6, daily at 5 p.m. or watch anytime at scptoday.com.